Okay, awesome. Okay, so today is this learning unit is a very small one. Okay, we're discussing purchasing and supply management. Purchasing and supply management. Okay. Um, all right. Okay. Guess we're gonna do this manually today. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so the learning outcomes. Place the purchasing and supply function and the nature of purchasing and supply activities in an organization. Explain the role and importance of the purchasing and supply function in the success and efficiency of the business. Is it possible for us to close maybe the windows and then switch on the aircraft? I think this is going to make us. You know the aircraft, right? I think you don't know that to the windows. Right. All right. Then explain the application of the management functions of planning, organizing, and control in the purchasing and supply function. Illustrate and explain the logical steps to be followed in purchasing and supply transaction. Um, Indicate the role of the purchasing and supply function in quality decisions. Explain the role of quality decisions in the purchasing and supply process. Give an overview of the selection, management, and development of suppliers. Pinpoint certain aspects of of pricing as purchasing and supply activities. And then finally, place the right time for purchasing and supply in perspective. Okay, right. So let's go on. Now, introducing the unit. Here we're obviously going to be looking at the importance of this particular management function. We're going to be looking at the management tasks and then obviously the purchasing process and activities. Okay, right. If there ever was a unit that you can live to go and study by yourself, I would say this is it. Okay. So purchasing and supply management entails the planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of all activities relating to purchase of materials and services from an external source. Okay. So pretty much its function, its purpose is pretty much in the name. All right. Purchasing and supply management. Okay. It is aimed at maintaining and improving the business's sustainability and efficiency of customer service. Okay. So here we are looking at ensuring that the business is stable. All right. It can remain stable. It's not ideal for you to start off on the right note and then at a later point you start underperforming or under-delivering. So we want it to be sustainable in obviously the deliverance of your services or product. But not only that, we also want you to be efficient at what you do. How do those efficiencies come about? Ensuring that you have your materials as and when you need them, ensuring that there's a process in place for those things to be processed such that the product is ready when it needs to be, all right? And then going on, it also then just goes on to say supply chain is a network of organizations linked to each other through buying and selling of materials, products, and services. Okay, cool. Let's go on. So now they're telling us about the importance of the purchasing and supply function. So it's obviously important because it's through this function that we select our suppliers, right? They also arrange the transportation of materials. They decide on whether the prices that are being dictated to us are acceptable. If not, obviously, we then look at an alternative supplier. They determine the quantity and quality of the materials, products, services that we are going to purchase. as a business. And then obviously they go on to expedite and receive materials. So expedite, in other words, if we need these things urgently, they're the ones who get on the phone and start calling suppliers and saying, why haven't you delivered yet? All right, what's the hold up? Or in some instances, maybe we were unaware that we were short on certain materials. Mistakes do happen. They would be the ones to expedite. In other words, find the means and ways of getting this product or materials that we need, or even services that we need urgently to the business so that we can obviously fulfill an order or provide a service. Then finally, or not finally, they also control the warehousing and inventory holding. Okay, so in finance, we spoke about how, inventory, we need to figure out how much inventory we should buy at any given point in time or hold, all right? Or if at all we should hold any inventory. You will be working very closely with purchasing and supply function in order to determine that, all right? And then determine the timing of purchase. When are we going to actually purchase these things? They would be involved in such things, okay? And here they're just continuing. Purchasing costs are the business's biggest expense, okay? Represent an area where cost saving can make a vital contribution to business profit, okay? And then here on, they even go on to tell you that if you want to realize profits, the easiest way is to reduce your costs, and you'll find that you there's a certain way in which they word it. I'm trying to explain, but at the end of the day, you get more bang from your buck by ensuring your costs are lower as opposed to the effort and expenditure that you'll put in to get more sales. Okay. Then here they're going on to say stock is held to prevent disruptions. Okay, this we all know. All right. Aim to keep inventory levels low without risking an interruption in the operations process. So we're not strangers to that there. Oh, this is the point that I was trying to speak to. Maybe let's see if it makes more sense after reading it from the slides here. Profit leverage means that purchasing costs constitute a major portion of total costs, and saving on these costs has greater profit potential than similar increase in sales. Okay, so just highlighting the significance of an effective purchasing and supply function. If these guys do their job and do their job well, in other words, ensure that we are buying the quality required at the lowest possible price, then they will do a great service to our bottom line or our profit. All right. Then purchasing materials of the right quantity and price at the right time can make final products available in the right quantities at a competitive price at the right time for customers. Ultimately, I think a lot of us tend to disassociate purchasing and supply to that of customer satisfaction or servicing the customer or catering to the customer, but they're very heavily intertwined with that because without them, we will not be able to deliver our final product, okay? So here I think that they are just really emphasizing that point there. Then here, the management task of the purchasing and supply manager. All right, so purchasing and supply planning is subject to overall business planning, okay? Should be conducted in consultation with other functional areas of the business, okay? So planning takes place on the following levels. You've got the strategic, which is the very top. Then you've got your middle management level, and then obviously the operational level, okay? Formulation of objectives is one of the most important planning tasks. Okay, so here I think you definitely need your respective management teams to be great communicators of the things they want to do. Otherwise, your purchasing and supply team is going to have a very hard time Because if you do not communicate in time to the purchasing and supply function, what it is that you're trying to do, the marketing campaigns that you're trying to have, the orders that you need to fulfill, that means that obviously they will not be able to get you your materials and so on and so forth to you at an effective time, at the best possible price, and as such, either give the customer a poor experience or that will hurt our bottom line because now they're scrambling for whoever can supply what is needed, and that might not necessarily be at the best price. Okay, so now here they're now just talking to purchasing and supply objectives derived from business objectives. Okay, so we'll just read a few of them because I think they're very self-explanatory and you guys can go over these things in your own time. Okay, so for instance, market share. All right, if the objective is that if the plan is about retaining market share, all right, the purchase and supply function, then their objective will therefore be to search for more unique products in the supplier market. All right. If the objective is to develop specific new products and services, then you would want to seek and develop new suppliers in order to be able to provide those new products and services. Okay. Then finally, to initiate a cost reduction plan as the purchasing and supply objective or function, there you would be looking to standardize materials and reduce supply. Okay. So you can see how intertwined they are to our planning process. Then here now they're talking to organizing. All right. Four main issues needed to be addressed in organizing the purchasing and supply function. Okay. Place of the purchasing and supply function in the organization structure. Okay. And I think if you look in your textbooks, I don't know if they're actually on the side, they'll show you that you can either have the purchasing and supply function within respective departments, right? And then just reporting to an external purchasing and supply head, or you can have a purchasing and supply department in and of itself. And then when things need to be purchased, then the respective functions, management functions, or respective departments and teams would then need to make contact with the purchasing and supply department or team, and then they would then obviously say, okay, this is what you need, give us the specifications of the quality that you need, quantity that you need, if you're aware of any what industry standards and stuff like that, that obviously need to be met. Also, you need to fill out that information or provide that information, and then they would then go on to go look around and see who are the best suppliers for this. Do they tick off all the boxes? Can they deliver the quantity needed as well? All right. Sometimes you get your mom and pop shops, in other words, small business owners. They have all the right, they tick all the right boxes, but they can't deliver the quantity, and then as such, it then has to go to a bigger organization. But anyway, enough on that. Then there's the internal organization of the purchasing department. Okay, how are they organized? I think we were actually speaking to that in the illustration I gave just now as well. Coordination with other functional management areas, speaking to that as well, and then cross-functional teams. Okay, right. So when you guys look at that diagram, I think it'll all begin to make sense, and you'll be able to connect the dots. Okay, so that is pretty much what I was talking about in terms of, is it centralized, is it decentralized? Okay, and yeah, I'm sure you guys touched on decentralization and centralization somewhere along the line. Net management. Right. Then here, coordination of other functional management areas. I don't think we need to go through this. The purchasing and supply function must be coordinated with other functional management areas as well as the needs of the final consumer. I think that is pretty much something that we have come to realize just from our discussion. Okay. moving right along. Right. So here now they're talking about cross-functional sourcing teams. Tasks of the cross-functional sourcing teams include supply selection, negotiating corporate-wide purchasing agreements, developing cost reduction strategies, developing sourcing strategies, developing suppliers, and the evaluation of supplier performance. Okay. So these are things that when reading them, you automatically are like, oh, makes sense that this is what the purchasing and supply function would do. Okay, and they're very self-explanatory, so I think we need not dwell any longer on that than we already have. Control in the purchasing and supply function. All right, control is essential. Why is control essential? You guys have spoken at length, I'm sure, in management, whether it was in school. I know not all of us may have had it, but I'm sure at tertiary you guys have obviously discussed planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Why would we need control in the purchasing and supply function? What is the relevance there? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me. And yeah, you can read off the keyboard activity. How the students are already splitting their screen and reading academic articles. I'd like to see. Yes. Ensure order in the company. Yeah, in what regard? Okay, yes, from a control perspective, but zone it in for me in terms of purchasing and supply. Because obviously they don't have control of the whole company, is it? Right? They're not the CEO, part of the exec, right? They just have a specific. So what would be the relevance of control in that space? And guys, we are all involved in the discussion. Talk to me. So 100% that's why we want to control. But now let's hone it in. From a purchasing and supply, why do we need to control? Is it necessary to control? So yes, talk to me. Why is it necessary? I think we all agree that it is necessary. It is prudent. Not so? Why do we need to control? Yes.
I think so, like in terms of purchasing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just so that you can make sure that you purchase like sufficient like resources and there isn't like wasteful expenditure.
Isn't wasteful. So those that's already 2 points in and of itself. Can you see it? First one that I think we were all thinking about, okay, for sure, is ensuring that we are within budget. We don't overspend on stuff. Okay. It's not to say we don't have money. I think it's just an issue of why should we waste more? Why should we waste money? Okay. Those resources can be applied elsewhere. All right. So there's that element of efficiency in terms of expenditure. Okay. Then secondly, the other thing that she brought up was ensuring that we have the right quantity, not of whatever materials that we obviously are looking to acquire. Okay. So here it says measures need to be put in place to ensure purchasing and supply objectives are pursued. Somebody needs to ensure that whatever the objective of the purchase was, it is being fulfilled with applicable and accepted standards or norms according to the policy. We need to have a structured policy. Can anybody just take the business credit card and go make purchases? Is it safe for us to proceed in that fashion? No. Okay. But at the same time, there are certain people who should have access to the business accounts, because if we don't give anybody access to these things, we might miss out on opportunities, isn't it? Okay. But there has to be a policy in place to say, who are those people? And those people are obviously going to be held liable if, for any reason, those cards are abused or not used as they should be. Okay, right? Then specific attention should be given to the management task in the purchasing and supply function and the performance of purchasing and supply activities. Okay. Ultimately, we need to evaluate how effective have they been. The assessment of purchasing and supply management. Essential that management performance is evaluated. Okay, happy with that. Management is intangible and difficult to measure quantitatively. Use the evaluation sheet or questionnaire. Use of an evaluation sheet or questionnaire can be used to access management performance in purchasing. Okay, so great thought needs to be applied in order to actually evaluate. Usually we call these performance appraisal. Okay, so every quarter you'll sit down with whoever is your supervisor, typically in a business, and then they would then evaluate your performance. Are you meeting your objectives? Okay, and we will see some of the objectives against which we evaluate the purchasing and supply function. So here are their various activities. Okay, control points used to gauge effectiveness. All right, so here, price proficiency. Okay, supplier performance. All right, are our suppliers performing as they should be? Are they enabling us to obviously conduct our business at the best possible level that we can? All right, timeliness. How quickly do they get on with the job? Execute. Okay, workload, cost saving. All right, very self-explanatory. All right, are they managing the purchasing costs? Inventory holding, are they being effective with this? Okay, so those are the various things that we would then be looking at. Now we're talking about the purchasing process and activities. Okay, and activities. So steps of the purchasing and supply cycle. Okay, so first things first, there has to be a need, right? And this is the last slide we'll look at before we obviously take a break. Okay, there has to be a need that they are obviously fulfilling. After the need is established, they then obviously choose which supplier would be most ideal to fulfill this need within the business. Then research on prices. Okay, sorry, choice of suppliers. So actually we're making a list of various suppliers that could actually fulfill that need. Then research on the prices and availability. Availability, we're looking at quantity and so on and so forth. Issuing the order and concluding a contract. And then obviously now we need to follow up, right? When are these things being delivered? How are they being delivered? All right. And then obviously if there's a delay, we need to expedite these things. Then receipt, inspection, and distribution. So upon arrival of the goods, we obviously need to inspect this stuff. Okay. Then handling errors. If things are not as they should be, how are they going to handle them? All right. If more money was spent than should have, if less money was spent than should have, all right. Then discrepancies in terms of the quality that was delivered or the quantity that was delivered. Then paying for the order. All right. They obviously need to oversee that as well. And then closing the order. All right. Those are, should I say, the steps. Okay. But before we continue with the activities, I think we can take a break here. And then after the break, we'll finish off our remaining 8 slides. 8 slides.